Hello and Happy New Year, everyone. I'm Judy Skeie-voss, and for our very first show of 2009, we're going to go back in time for a Best of Local Image program featuring a sampling of segments that we brought you in 2008. And we'll kick off this first series of health-related segments with a return visit to a unique fitness center called Survivor's Studio.
This is very specifically focused on cancer recovery and cancer survival, and exercise for colon cancer and breast cancer can have enormous dividends.
So why would a U of M professor with a family and a very full life want to bear the added weight and risk of launching this new venture?
I was diagnosed with breast cancer in November of 2006. Cancer kind of gives you permission to rethink some of your priorities and take some risks. You know, what's the worst that could happen to you? You have cancer. Well, I already have cancer, you know. So, you know, some people want to take some new risks, and so I did.
And while each woman's cancer journey is unique, those who travel it together enjoy a special bond.
Oftentimes, like when we introduce each other, we'll, you know, just say, so what type of cancer do you have? What are you going through treatment? And you get used to that, and especially with someone else who has cancer, it's not as awkward, I guess, in a way. And we're always, you know, asking how we're doing and kind of checking up on each other. But we don't feel like we have to talk about it either.
I wouldn't trade the relationships that I have here with people, you know, for anything. Mm-hmm. I like to say, I think that people with cancer, they shimmer. They have a grace about them.
Do you feel like you glow when you leave this place?
Yeah, I feel good when I leave, you know. You feel lighter.
Well, colorectal cancer is the third most common cancer diagnosed in men and women in the United States. Early stage colon cancer is 5-year survival is 93%. And last stage of colon cancer, 5-year survival is only 7%. And that answer all the questions. If we detect such cancer really early, likelihood that a life will be saved is really high. Any good news I give to my patient excites me a lot, and if I can tell the patients you are cured, that's even better.
This Colon Cancer Awareness Month is very close to my heart because I think I'm a walking example of early detection.
And when it comes to awareness, what are some of the things that maybe have changed over the years, or information that is new from maybe a few years ago?
There was a doctor at Creighton University in Omaha, Nebraska named Dr. Henry Lynch, and he developed the concept of the Lynch syndrome. And that has to do with if there's 3 incidents of colon cancer, and there was in my particular family, within 2 generations, so it'd be my mother and my sibling and myself, then you should always get going and have a colonoscopy at the earliest age that your blood relative was diagnosed with. In my particular case, I was 34 years old. All of our children, we have 5 children, have had colonoscopies at that stage or age of their life so that they could be proactive and ahead of it.
This time of the year is the big event for White Bear Lake, the annual Relay for Life. What can folks look forward to this year?
It's the 14th annual, so they would do it year after year, and the new thing this year is we do have a new theme around Relay. It's called Celebrate, Remember, Fight Back, and it's really celebrating our survivors, honoring our caregivers, remembering those we've lost, and then fighting back 365 days a year. What can you do? What pledge can you take outside of that one Relay night to get your colorectal screening? And Cheryl's really helping us with the fighting back.
You guys do an awesome job for this.
I'd like you to leave with a better understanding that addiction is a disease, not a choice. That using is a choice, not using is a choice, but becoming addicted can happen to anyone. That it's a very treatable illness. People need to get to treatment. Now, they're not always going to wake up in the morning and say, please take me to treatment. Because one of the symptoms of this disease is to tell you that you don't have a disease, because your brain thinks you're telling it can't have food anymore.
And something that really struck me that night is that you said that even today there's still misunderstandings and just denial basically in our society about what the impact the brain has, and that this is a disease. And talk a little bit about that.
There's still a lot of misinformation, a lot of ignorance in people who can really make a difference in the medical field, in social services, human services, corrections. And I think it's really unfortunate because this is published material, published research. And like with any illness, the sooner you catch it in its progression, the easier it is to treat and the more successful the treatment is.
John, why did you feel so compelled to call us after watching that program?
Well, I think as I mentioned to you, it was 3 o'clock one morning and I couldn't sleep, so I got up and I started clicking through the channels. And all of a sudden I saw the word addiction. Well, that had been part of our family for a while, so I thought, well, I'll watch this. Well, I found out more in that hour and a half that I watched it, and it's a 2-hour program, so I missed some of it. I found out more in that hour and a half that I watched than I had heard in the previous 10 or 15 or 20 years.
I remember to this day, I was driving on the Hollywood freeway, and I came to the realization in my mind, I can't stop. And along with that, I chose to leave the job I was at and go to work for another company. And then all of a sudden the finances were not matching up. I had a house up in Washington State that I ended up losing. And everything just always added up. I just want to get high again. I just want to get high again. And the other side of it, I look at myself as I am today and say, you know, why can't I just have a nice functional life? You know, why does this escape maybe have to be in the back of my mind at times when challenges come up? And I think that's one of the things I got out of the video, the stress thing, you know, seems really important.
A trigger. That's a trigger for a lot of people, apparently.
The hungry, angry, lonely, tired, you know, things aren't going quite my way, you know. Navigating through those like normal people do without the option of maybe going someplace and doing something different, you know, is the challenge at times.
Right. Oh, I'm sure. And John, when you were watching that program, I think sometimes the best part about working in community media is that you get invited to many different events like Market Fest and National Night Out and even the annual Iron Pour in White Bear Lake. But most of the time we're there just to capture the action and bring it back to show you. But one particular event last year captured more than just our attention. It captured several of our staff members and landed us in jail. Take a look.
This is scary.
But see, that's kind of the idea. We really try to really let people know, right, Jessica?
What we're doing right now is we're having our Muscular Dystrophy Association lockup program, and that is where we ask business leaders and community leaders to come in and raise $1,200 to send 2 kids with muscular dystrophy to summer camp.
I was expecting the same type of guy, and I was expecting him to chain me up and drag me down the hall. But I got first class service. I think his heart is right there.
What is so unique and wonderful about this lockup is that, it's a different type of way to raise money. It's saying, I'm going to go to jail for 1 hour, and I'm going to raise money to bail myself out of jail for MDA, and it's going to be fun when I get there. It's different, and it's fun, and